This video contains spoilers of the contents of all 4 occurring seasons of Attack on Titan from the first episode of season 1 all the way up to season 4. I mean, come on, it's Attack on Titan. I don't know what you expected. Anyways, you've been warned. Now, if I was gonna ask which was the most popular anime that has come out in the recent decade, there are definitely some huge juggernauts, but most likely you'll say Attack on Titan. With the award-winning manga that was created by Hajime Isayama in 2009, the anime adaptation will finally be produced in the summer season of 2013, where it absolutely exploded and took the world by storm. Everyone was watching this anime, and by everyone, I mean literally everyone. As Attack on Titan was a concept that many people haven't seen before ever in any TV show up until that very point. And the numbers even prove to this to how massively popular this was, as even when I'm writing this, the first opening still sits at around 24 million views on YouTube. Like seriously, I even had friends who I definitely knew didn't watch anime, because 2013 was still a time where people were still pushing the agenda that
anime is for fucking losers and douchebags.
In which those very people decided to sit on the freaking couch and watch people go flying on zippy straps killing brainless monster people. As though those same friends, as well as many others, were saying things like how it's basically a mix between Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead, but with giant naked people. But as we then finished the first season of the anime, the huge hype that Attack on Titan met back in the first season drastically died down, as it took literally 4 dang years for a season 2. And in my opinion, this is where the hype for Attack on Titan took a significant dip, as many fans simply weren't interested anymore. Though, for your information, I just wanted to let you all know that this isn't going to be a review video on talking about the Attack on Titan series as a whole, but a video briefly going over the main plot points of each season, and also mainly explaining the rise, decline, and inherently the recent revival of popularity that we're witnessing the series experience again in its final season. This is the resurgence of Attack on Titan. But if we're going to go over all of this,
yeah, it's rewind time.
We first have to go over the beginnings of this franchise. Now, just as I stated before, the original Attack on Titan manga was created in 2009, but was first a one-shot that Isayama created in 2006 called Humanity vs. the Titan, or aka Attack on Titan 0. Isayama would later submit this one-shot to Weekly Shōnen Jump magazine, in which they rejected it. They advised that he'd make the story more child-friendly. But after Isayama declined the idea of doing that, he decided to submit this to another Jump publishing company called Kodansha, or more specifically Bessatsu Shōnen Magazine, in which they accepted it. And with some changes, the series we all know and love today as Attack on Titan was born. Isayama has stated in many interviews that he had inspired Attack on Titan from many different things and places. Like the concept, for example, in which how he thought of the Titans when someone grabbed him by the collar, which is quite a rude way to get someone's attention if you ask me. And also more inspiration regarding the concept planning is that the story of Attack on Titan was inspired by an old PC game by the name of Muv Luv Alternative. Yeah, no, probably doesn't match, but let me explain, alright? The premise for this PC game was basically a visual novel type game that was about a group of kids finding a mecha fight against an evil invasion of alien creatures called the Beta, which Isayama stated in quite a number of interviews that this mainly helped him come up with the premise of man-eating titans. Hajime Isayama will continue to write the story of Attack on Titan when flash forward to 2013, where the anime will finally come out, and this would be most people's introduction to the franchise. This anime would then start the hype surrounding this series, and this show will also personally introduced me to the medium of anime. Now, I watched Attack on Titan first season when I was quite young, so I wouldn't lie that I found some scenes in the first season actually quite frightening, but at the same time, the anime was hype as hell and was probably the coolest thing I've seen at that point at my young age. Through the many twists in the show and different turn of events that the anime will entail in its first season, Attack on Titan still had a main driving point, and that was what was inside Eren's basement. If you ask me, this was the main plot point of the whole series from the first season up until the second part of the third season, in which it was finally revealed to us, but more on the topic later in the video. But moving forward, this is when we would witness a huge increase of popularity to the franchise, as you would always see cosplays and conventions, and the anime would literally go up to be the second most popular anime on my anime list. In terms of the franchise's amazing success, Attack on Titan would later go on to have some spin-offs, video games, a theme park, and even a live-action anime adaptation, which I'm pretty sure we all promise not to ever talk about ever again. And this would solidify Attack on Titan as a huge anime juggernaut in history, and then prove the rise that the franchise has experienced, until something unfortunate happened, because of course it did. Not many people know why Attack on Titan took a 4-year-long hiatus to finally air in 2017, but if you do a Google search on the internet to find out the main reason, there are many different theories and questions as to why this season took such a long time to be produced. But the real reason this was the case was due to issues with pacing in the Attack on Titan manga. When the anime came to an end for the first season, the anime was extremely close to the manga in terms of how many chapters Isayama had published since then. So in order to obviously give the manga time to be ahead of the anime, they had to put the series to a halt, because obviously the last thing we want from Attack on Titan is a filler hell. Though this doesn't mean that the anime series went to an immediate halt, as there were 2 OVAs that were released during the 4-year gap, and even a spin-off series called Attack on Titan Junior High that was released in 2015. And in this video, I could positively say that the 4-year divergence between both seasons is what inevitably killed the hype that Attack on Titan once had, as these kinds of things are doomed to happen when a series takes such a long period of time to make a return. Not saying that no one was watching it, as it still managed to reach 1.6 million members on MAL, but it was obvious that the hype died down because most people lost interest in the story, as we still don't know what was inside of Eren's basement up until that point, which is when we started to see a slight decline for the Attack on Titan franchise in terms of popularity. One thing I will admit is that season 2 was vastly different to what we experienced from season 1. An obvious difference was that instead of what we got in season 1 having 25 episodes, season 2 had 12 episodes, which if you ask me is the ultimate blue ball. And from a plot perspective, there were many differences that us watchers could infer that was not the same as season 1. For instance, Attack on Titan season 2 consisted of world building, character development, top 10 anime betrayals. Wait a minute. Season 2 focused on the other side characters more than the main trio that we were usually used to and fleshed them out. We learned more about Reiner and Bertolt, Ymir, Honey, and Krista. We'll also be introduced to some new characters like Zeke, aka Big Giant Talking Monkey Man, and it was quite unfortunate that the series had to go on a slight decline because for a few years until the airing of season 3 part 2, it kinda seemed to people looking outside of the series that Attack on Titan had become quite stale during the drop in popularity. On Google Trends, you could see that once season 1 of Attack on Titan ended, it takes a huge drop down as it wasn't getting as many searches anymore on the internet, and all the way up to 2017 it never really took a gradual jump in popularity as its previous seasons did. For a more clear comparison and understanding on how big this dip was, let's talk about Minecraft for a bit. As we all know, Minecraft also had the same popularity as Attack on Titan did when it first came out in 2011, but only that it was way bigger. And around this time, many people were playing it while building whatever that their hearts desire, because people just love building stuff. I mean, just look at Legos, man. This game was also heavily advertised on YouTube, as it even started many of the careers of YouTubers that we know today. And this just goes to show how big this was, because the game would do huge numbers by selling over 176 million copies worldwide. But over time, as the community on YouTube wasn't completely dead in the dustbin, the game Minecraft as a whole took quite a dip in popularity due to the release of other new extremely popular games. This is fairly similar to how Attack on Titan started to wane from the general worldwide mainstream. But with the recent resurgence of Minecraft, it all happened due to the creation of SMP Live and PewDiePie's Minecraft series that he would upload on YouTube, as well as other factors that played into Minecraft's revival. But unlike that, even with how amazing and action-packed the final episodes of season 2 were, the time of revival wasn't there yet, as we then move on to season 3 shortly after. Now, I'm not going to go too hard on explaining the state of popularity Attack on Titan Season 3 Part 1 was, because it was generally the same as Season 2. But to start off, the main thing you have to know was that Season 3 Part 1 was a season where Attack on Titan became more political, as it became less about Titans and more about conspiracy and a false monarchy. I guess you could say that Attack on Titan wasn't Attack on Titan anymore, and it was basically Attack on Humans, as we were introduced to more interactions between the characters instead of what we were usually used to for the premise as a whole. In my personal opinion, I think Season 3 Part 1 was very underrated, as we all got to see a more logical and human side to many of the characters. And of course, the animation was amazing, the storytelling was pretty top tier, and it even had a great climax to the season. But even through all of this, through thick and thin, Season 3 wasn't a season that was meant to encapsulate the hype and popularity that the show once had. But little did we all know that the end of Season 3 Part 1 will only be the beginning of what I claim would be the year we witness a revival of the Attack on Titan series. Season 3 Part 2 was indeed the time where Attack on Titan shined best, not only from a popularity standpoint, but from a plot standpoint as well. Through all the major buildup that we experienced in the previous season and arcs, Attack on Titan Season 3 Part 2 brought it all front and center in an amazing way. Many people who had most likely dropped it early on had a reason to come back to the anime, as a long anticipated question we were finally wondering and finally being answered on what was inside Eren's basement all along. While Season 3 Part 2 was airing, I heard many people describe this series as the payoff, and Season 4 as the ultimate payback, and honestly, I couldn't agree more. With the airing of Season 4 and the manga finally coming to a bittersweet end, the Attack on Titan franchise has been at an all-time high on crazy levels. And though it is quite true that the popularity isn't quite what it used to be back in Season 1, the new wave of people watching this series is absolutely immense, and there is no denying that. Like seriously, only Attack on Titan can literally trend on Twitter every single week it airs. And do you possibly understand how hard it is to avoid spoilers from the series in this day and age? An anime series that started off as just a show about killing giant naked people turned into something more greater than we have ever seen before. And we can mainly thank Isayama and the animation studios that put all of their hard work and effort into making such an amazing series. And now here we are on its final season. For the past decade, Attack on Titan really changed and developed in many different and interesting ways. From an anime that was literally everywhere you go back in 2013 to a fade in popularity that the series had to undergo from 2017 to 2019, Attack on Titan has been through a bumpy road in the past 10 years, but I'm still happy enough that the franchise was able to pick itself back on its feet, so we were able to witness the resurgence of an anime holding our mind for a very long time. Thanks for watching this video. I told you all that I would have a more consistent upload schedule from now on, but overall I knew I had to get this video as soon as possible while Attack on Titan is currently trending now. But though, if you did enjoy that video, I'd appreciate if you subscribe, smash like, and even share the video around, because that would really mean a lot to me. Well, anyways, I'm pretty sure that was the main thing I kind of wanted to say, because all I had to do was grind and work hard on this video. So anyways, if you're still here to this point, that's amazing. I really very much appreciate that, and I will see you guys later. Lord Daiki out.